What's going on, guys? This is Nolan's pod. Nolan with you here. It was another crazy weekend this week in sports, and the NFL is what we're going to be talking about today. It was a wild weekend. One that you probably would not expect. First, we're going to start with the Chiefs going against Baltimore. Baltimore has home field advantage, and that's good and all. But when you playing the Chiefs, you need to be playing well. And Baltimore flat out just did not do that. First, we're going to start with Lamar Jackson. Lamar was 20 for 37, 272 yards, one touchdown, one interception. He ran the ball 8 times for 54 yards. He had a QBR total of 42.9, and he was sacked 4 times. You're going to start right there. Lamar got sacked 4 times. If you know Lamar, and you know playing the Ravens, it's hard to sack Lamar because he's going to get out of it and he's going to run. And he got out of one of them yesterday where they almost sacked him. And he was able to get out of it and run. But still, being sacked 4 times, it's hard to do that with Lamar. And the Chiefs were able to get to him that many times. Some of it you can blame on the Ravens offensive line for being bad. But a lot of it, and majority of it, you can blame on Lamar for just playing a bad game. Again, I mentioned he did have 54 yards of running. But that's not Lamar-like. Lamar stood in the pocket way too long yesterday, and it's like he hesitated on everything that he was doing. He even had some throws where he just threw over his wide receivers' heads. He like, Lamar, come on, you got to hit these people. But Lamar played hesitant yesterday. He played like all the pressure was on him, and none of the pressure was on the Chiefs, but really the pressure was on the Chiefs. And the pressure really should not have been on Baltimore, but how Lamar played, he played like it was all on him. He had to carry the world on his shoulders instead of just playing like his normal self. He's usually relaxed and calm, and the pressure, it got to him yesterday, and he did not play a good game. I'm disappointed in him because we know that Lamar could have played a much better game than what he did. And you're playing that level of competition, you always have to bring your A game. But that's why these people said before coming into this game, Lamar has been mad suspect when it comes to the postseason. And he did it again. He showed why he's mad suspect when it comes to the postseason. When the moment is big, he just falls apart, and he did it again yesterday. Justice Hill had 4 receptions for 34 yards. Nelson Aguilar had 1 reception for 39 yards. Non-existent OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. had 3 receptions for 22 yards. Now, it was a play where Lamar threw down the field, and they kind of got handsy. OBJ and the Chiefs cornerback, they kind of got handsy. And you make the question, they should have thrown a flag. Should they have thrown a flag? Probably. Could Lamar have thrown a better ball and not thrown to OBJ's head? Probably, because Lamar did that a lot yesterday where he was just throwing over everybody's head. So it's 50-50. It's so-and-so. They could have threw a flag, but Lamar, you could have actually made a playable pass where OBJ could have possibly made an attempt to try and catch it. That's what I'm saying. Lamar, a lot of this was on you. OBJ was non-existent yesterday. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't. But it's also Lamar was not passing it his way either. Zay Flowers had 5 receptions for 115 yards, 1 touchdown. He had another touchdown catch that he caught, but he fumbled it before he could get to the end zone. And when he fumbled it, that hurt them. But that was after the fact that he caught one down the field from Lamar. And after he caught it, he taunted the Chiefs defender, and he pushed him on the ground. Once he was on the ground, it's like he almost stepped over him. You know that you cannot do that. You can taunt, but you can't take somebody and about push them while they're already on the ground. You can't do that. And Zay Flowers let the moment get too big for him right there. But you take the good with the bad, because you have to remember Zay Flowers is a very good wide receiver, but he's a rookie. And the rookies are always going to have those rookie moments where they make a huge mistake. And he made two of them yesterday with the taunt and the fumble in the end zone. Like, he had a good game, 5 receptions, 115 yards, and a touchdown. But you got to use your head in the moment. You got to know in the moment what you are doing and what you can do and what you can't do. And that taunt killed the momentum that the Ravens had, because they didn't even end up getting the field goal out of it, because they got pushed back on the flag. Didn't end up getting anything out of it. You have to know what you can do and what you cannot do in the moment. And Zay Flowers, he jacked that up, and he was visibly upset on the sidelines, as you've seen yesterday. That's a live and learn moment. You cannot put this game on the Ravens defense. The Ravens defense only gave up 17 points to a terrific Chiefs team. They did their job. The Ravens just didn't score enough points. It was time and time again where we like, Lamar, let's go. Lamar, let's go. Come on, Lamar. You have a chance to put some points up on the board. You have a chance. Y'all are right there if y'all just put some points up on the board. And just could not do it. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't get any of that magic going yesterday. And you got to give credit to the Chiefs defense. They had a great game plan. Steve Sarkisian, defensive coordinator of the Chiefs. Great game plan y'all put together to sack Lamar 4 times and just to get after those guys to allow them 10 points. The only person that really got off, like I said, was Zay Flowers. Everybody else was non-existent. OBJ, what was you doing? Where were you at? I know, as I mentioned, Lamar didn't throw you away, but you got to get yourself involved. You got to get open so Lamar can hit you. Man, that's tough to watch, because I wanted Lamar to get to the Super Bowl, but he fell short. On the flip side of that, with the Chiefs, you got to give credit to them. They did it again. This was their worst team by far. This was Patrick Mahomes' most challenging year by far. His wide receivers led the NFL in 40 drop passes this year. Those guys could not catch the ball to save their life. Lo and behold, these guys are still going to the Super Bowl. You can blame the refs all you want to or whatever you want to do. I only seen 2 plays where they really should have genuinely threw a flag. The one on Isaiah Likely where he got held up, no flag was called. And then the second one I mentioned with OBJ. The Chiefs cornerback getting handsy with him a little bit. That should have been a flag called. That's questionable because Lamar shouldn't have threw it over his head. So you can blame the refs all you want to, but the bottom line of it is the Chiefs went in there and beat those guys, because Baltimore ended up beating themselves all over the place. Patrick Mahomes was 30 of 39 in completions yesterday. He had 241 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He got sacked 2 times, and Pat had a QBR of 91.1. Isaiah Pacheco ran the ball 24 times for 68 yards and 1 touchdown. That's pretty doggone good. Rashid Rice had an 8 reception game for 46 yards. Mr. Travis Kelce had 11 receptions for 116 yards and 1 touchdown. We knew Travis Kelce was going to do his thing, and lo and behold, he did it. MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, had only 2 receptions for 38 yards. And I know what you're thinking. 2 receptions for 38 yards, that's nothing. MVS caught the ball in the 4th quarter, going into the 2-minute warning to give the Chiefs a first down, coming off of a 3rd down. He had a miraculous catch, and it ultimately sealed the deal. The Ravens didn't have no more timeouts. Game over. MVS, you made that catch. That was huge. Creed Humphrey on the defensive side of the things for the Chiefs was able to get a fumble on Lamar Jackson. As I mentioned, Lamar sat calmly in the pocket all game, didn't really try to run like that, and it bit him. And Creed Humphrey was able to create a fumble off of Lamar sitting in the pocket way too long than he should. Pat had a good game. Travis Kelce had a good game. You knew those guys were. You got to give credit when credit is due. Those guys did it again. They deserve to go to the Super Bowl because they made Baltimore play like complete garbage. And those guys came in and played a great game, and they only scored 17 points. They only scored 17 points. As I mentioned, the Ravens defense was good, but you got to give these guys credit. They came in, they played their game, they drew up a great offensive game plan to only score 17 points. I mean, that's not a lot of points. And those guys were still able to go in there and just win. They just found a way. They found a way. And there you are. You have it. They're advancing to the Super Bowl. You can't help but feel for Lamar Jackson. But he also should have showed up. If he would have showed up, Baltimore probably would have won. They had a million opportunities and he still didn't manage to show up. Still managed to blow it. I mean, golly, man. Come on, Lamar. You should be ashamed of yourself for how you play. You choked that one. You gave that one away. You completely choked within the moment. Transitioning to the next game. The Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. Each half told the story of that game. The first half, it was all Detroit. The second half, it was all San Francisco. It was 24-7 going to halftime. Detroit leads by 17 going into halftime. Jared Goff had a completion of 25 of 41, 273 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked twice, and he had a QBR of 59.9. I told you last week that David Montgomery was going to rebound and have a great game. He did that. He had 15 carries for 92 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 2 receptions for 20 yards. Jamar Gibbs, your other star-studded running back, had 12 carries for 45 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 receptions for 11 yards. Josh Reynolds had 1 reception for 25 yards. Sam Laporta had another great game, 9 receptions for 97 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who you expect no less to have a great game, had 7 receptions for 87 yards. Jameson Williams had 2 receptions for 25 yards, with 1 carry for 42 yards and 1 touchdown. It was all Detroit in the first half of that game. They got anything they wanted to get. Whatever they wanted to do right, they got it. San Francisco's secondary was not good yesterday, even though they won. Detroit in that first half got whatever they wanted. Receivers got wide open. They was able to hit play action passes down the field. They was able to run the ball down San Francisco's throat at one time. And they felt good going into halftime because it was 24-7. You had C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the sideline waving goodbye to the San Francisco 49ers fans in the middle of the second quarter when it was only 21-7. He's waving goodbye, and that did not end well, or it did not age well, or I should say. Flip to the second half. Brock Purdy and the 49ers start making their run. Brock Purdy was 20 of 31, 269 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. Brock had a QBR of 88.1. He also ran the ball 5 times for 48 yards. CMC, Christian McCaffrey, had 20 carries for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 4 receptions and 42 yards. Deebo Samuel ended up playing in this game. And I told y'all that if Deebo Samuel plays, it's going to be tough for Detroit to beat these guys. Deebo ended up playing. He had 8 receptions for 89 yards. Brandon Ayuk had 3 receptions for 68 yards. Brandon Ayuk caught a ball that should have been intercepted, and it also ended up being a penalty flag thrown on that play, pass interference. It should have been intercepted, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway because they threw a flag for pass interference. George Kittle had 2 receptions for 27 yards. Jawan Jennings had 1 reception for 8 yards. And you might be thinking 1 reception for 8 yards, Jawan Jennings, but he made a heck of a catch on the 3rd down. He made a heck of a catch, a heck of a one-handed catch that you will ever see. That was spectacular. You give credit when credit is due on that one. Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions head coach. I have a problem with you going for it on 4th down instead of kicking field goals. You had 2 opportunities to kick field goals. That would have been 6 points. The score of the game ended up being 27-24. You have 2 field goal opportunities that you could take. If you take the 6 points off of the 2 field goals, y'all would probably be tied going into overtime. But you try to get the 4th down conversion. You guys were 1-3 on 4th downs. 1-3. But mind you, Detroit played this way all year. On 4th down, they were always aggressive going for it. So they stuck to what they did in the regular season. But at the end of the day, you have to take the points. This is a playoff game. This is not some stupid regular season game where it don't matter if you win or lose. This is a playoff game where it all matters if you win or not. It matters. You have to take the points, and you have to take what the defense is giving you. Dan Campbell, you're a terrific coach by all stretch of the imagination. You are the big reason why your team got to the NFC Championship game. But it's just frustrating because you have to take the points. You cannot be greedy and go for it on 4th down. Starting the 3rd quarter, y'all were up 24-7. And you trying to go for it on 4th down instead of just taking the points, it would have been 27-7 going into that 3rd quarter. But you got to take the points. I understand being aggressive, but you can't be aggressive on every single 4th down that you see. You can't do that. And then these guys, they stopped catching the ball. They couldn't catch no more. They couldn't stop the 49ers on defense. They kept letting them get whatever they want. It was just that they knew that they were going to lose in the second half because I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I really am speechless. I'm speechless because it's like y'all had the game in the bag. If y'all just make the simple plays, go for the field goal, take your points. Always take your points. Now you got to sit on that for the whole rest of the winter going into the summer. You got to sit on, I should have took 3 points. And you know what Dan Campbell said after the game? I don't regret doing that. He said he does not regret it. Are you seriously kidding me? How can you not regret this? Y'all were 1-3 on 4th down. It's almost like y'all deserve to lose. I tried to tell my mom that they were going to lose. And she said, no, son, they're going to win. I said, okay. And lo and behold, they lost. Tried to tell her. It is exhausting even talking about this because y'all got to take the points. That was more of y'all blowing it than it was more y'all letting the 49ers come back. That was more y'all blowing the game. Got to give San Francisco some credit. They fought back. They came back. But Detroit gave them that game. That's it. They gave them that game. That game was not deserved. They gave them that game. Point blank, period. I'm frustrated even talking about it. And I'm sick of talking about it already. So, therefore, that's it. I don't have nothing else to say. Not right now. I'm sick of talking about it already. That's it. See ya. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.